What is going on, guys? So, we all know of the Strix battery chargers, the 1S lipo chargers for the tiny watt batteries. Many of us are using them. They're great because you can use a 3 or 4S lipo battery to charge your tiny watt batteries. So I can have these charging as I'm flying my normal size multi-rotors. It works out great. But this got me thinking, what if I want a car charger for it? Something sort of like this. Surprisingly, this thing works great, and I'm going to show you how to do it for free if you do have a spare phone charger just laying around. The first thing we need to understand is these 12 volt outlets in your cars, it's not actually 12 volts. In fact, it's not even regulated. With your car batteries, they have 6 cells, 2.1 volts per cell, giving you 12.6 volts for a fully charged brand new battery, though it's usually a little bit less depending on the age of your battery. Then with the car running, it's actually about 14.5 volts because of the alternator. The reason I explain this is because if you want to charge your tiny watt batteries with the Strix battery charger with the car turned off, then you want the 3S setting. If you want to charge your batteries with the car turned on, then make sure you switch it to the 4S setting. Now with that out of the way, just take an old phone charger and carefully take it apart the best you can. I actually did crack mine a little bit taking mine apart, but it's fine because in the end we're going to just glue it back together anyway. The spring in the middle with a metal nipple on the end, this is where your positive wire will go, and the two metal prongs on the left and right, this is where the negative wire will go. So we just need to remove this from the PCB because we don't need any part of the PCB. We only need the spring and the two prongs. Next, take the spring and the two prongs, place them back inside the cover and super glue them in place. For the negative prongs, only put super glue here and do not put glue here because you do need them to be able to flex a little bit once you plug it into the cigarette lighter. And for the spring, you don't want to place glue on the entire spring, just enough to hold it in place. Next, tin the end of the spring to where you will be soldering your positive wire to. Then you want to tin the end of your wire and go ahead and solder the wire onto the end of the spring. And by the way, I'm using 20 gauge wire for the positive and negative. Next, tin the prongs to where you'll be soldering your negative wire to. Then tin the end of your negative wire and go ahead and solder it onto the prong. The next thing I did was add more super glue to the negative prongs and the end of the spring, just to make sure that they don't get pulled out of place. Then I took hot glue and added it on top of both wires, underneath the wires, all around the wires. Once again, just make sure that they can't be pulled out of place. I then put super glue all around the edges of both sides of the case and the back piece, and then snap everything back together and waited for everything to dry. The last step is to put an XC60 connector on the end of your wires. I also put electrical tape around the wires just to keep them held together better. After that, you are now done. Just a reminder, make sure that you have the 3S setting set if you have the car turned off, the 4S setting turned on if you have the car running. But that's going to do it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.